As for Oracle, Jim, the sound that got circulated over the weekend in which Larry Ellison describes what dinner sounds like between him, Elon Musk, and Jensen Huang. Take a listen.
If you listen to Jensen Huang, and I'm sure you do, I know you do because I've seen his stock price, and I know. I went to dinner with Elon in Nobu, Palo Alto. I went to dinner with Elon Musk, Jensen Huang, and I went to dinner, and I would describe the dinner as Oracle and me and Elon begging Jensen for GPUs. Please take our money. Please take our money. By the way, I got dinner. Please take our money. Take more of it. You're not taking enough of it. We need you to take more of our money, please. It went okay. It worked.
That's how you sustain 90% margins, I guess, Jim.
Yeah, 3 billionaires walk into a bar. Now, I have to tell you that this is so different from where we were 2 weeks ago, but it's very similar to what Jensen Huang talked about at Goldman, which is basically it's a highly emotional process. David, since when is it a highly emotional process to try to get something that costs $40,000?
It's a good question. It is somewhat unique in the annals of technology, I guess, Jim, to think of emotion being a part of the entire process and how. But Ellison spoke to the competition that we talk about so often in terms of being able to get access to the chips that you need, the GPUs, Blackwell being the latest iteration, to run these enormous models that have to keep consuming vast amounts of data, keep pushing generative AI further and further ahead, to the point where one day we actually start to see applications that we all can recognize on the consumer level, not just the enterprise, that actually generate a real return for those spending the hundreds of billions of dollars to run those models.
Well, Hawk Tan would tell you, not yet, not yet. You got to stay with the hyperscalers, the big guns, which I think is absolutely true. Elon Musk has said critical things about Jensen. The last conference call, he said nice things, but you really want to get it right with Jensen. And I'm not sure whether Musk is getting it right yet.
Welcome back to Money Movers. Healthcare and artificial intelligence. The drug discovery market has been plagued by slow development times and inefficiencies, with new drugs taking 10 to 15 years to develop, with an 80 to 90% clinical trial failure rate. Sandbox AQ, which collaborated with NVIDIA, is looking to AI technology to drastically cut down on drug development time to treat diseases like cancer, like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, this month being World Alzheimer's Month. And joining us now is Sandbox AQ CEO Jack Hittery and Breyer Capital founder and CEO Jim Breyer. Jim is a big backer and venture investor in Sandbox AQ. Gentlemen, it's great to have you back on. Welcome.
Sarah, good to see you.
Sarah, always a pleasure.
You too. So Jack, World Alzheimer's Awareness Month. Are you using your technology, which is AI and quantum, to help cure this disease that plagues so many Americans? And if so, how?
Sarah, as you said in the opening, it takes 10 plus years just to get a drug to clinic. And then in clinic, there's a 90% failure rate. We partnered with NVIDIA to make sure that we can use those chips in a new way. People and viewers here on this show have heard of large language models, and they're good for certain applications such as customer service and marketing copy. But here we're talking about a new kind of AI. Large quantitative models, LQMs. We work closely with the NVIDIA team, specifically the CUDA team, to make sure that we can use these NVIDIA chips in the way that allows us to calculate the best drug to take to clinic. Specifically here with Alzheimer's, we worked with UCSF. Stan Prusner won the Nobel Prize. Working with his lab, we identified key compounds, and we did it in under 18 months, going to clinic in the next 6-7 months instead of taking 10 years, with a much better possible success rate. So it's very exciting to be part of this and to be the pace setter right now worldwide at Sandbox AQ, and great to be joined by Jim Breyer.
Yes.
Jim, my opinion, Sarah, and I'm sure you share this, is the leading investor at the nexus of AI, quantum, and healthcare. The number one investor in that area. Jim?
Well, Jim, I always pay attention to what you say and what you get excited about. Really great calls on some even public companies like NVIDIA, which you had doubled down in at a key moment. I do wonder, though, why you are so excited, and I know I've heard you talk about Jack and what he's doing at Sandbox, about this sort of AI quantum merger, and whether anybody else is doing anything like this.
Hi, Sarah. No, there's no one else doing this. In the mega cap companies, the Magnificent Seven, and I would throw in Oracle, which we've spoken about in the past, and Dell and a couple of the other leaders like Salesforce, a lot of internal efforts where they're applying their AI internal expertise against the large vertical of life sciences. From a portfolio company standpoint, I've done about 16 spin-outs of major companies, or more importantly, in some cases, major hospitals. Such we're here at Harvard today, Harvard Medical School, Mass General Brigham, Dell, MD Anderson, UCSF, again, Stanford, MIT, two stealth companies out of MIT that are approaching, again, this incredible juxtaposition of how computation and AI can make a huge difference. And so I'm very optimistic, not just the Magnificent Seven, which we've spoken about, but when I see Larry Ellison and all the great announcements that came out in the last couple of weeks, for Oracle, Larry Ellison is spending 75% of his time on AI and where AI meets medicine and the life sciences. A genius, for sure. When Larry Ellison is focused that heavily on these areas, I, as a venture capitalist, take notice.
Well, that's a full-throated endorsement from you, Jim. How close are we to real-world applications, though, especially in life sciences with some of the universities and use cases that you're working on?
Yeah.
Sarah, to kick off, what our partnership with NVIDIA allowed us to do was to really scale what we do on these GPUs. And so UCSF is one example, Sanofi is another example. There's large pharma companies we're working with, spin-outs we're working with, university labs we're working with, and we're going across the spectrum of indications. Today we're focused on Alzheimer's because of the Awareness Month, but also focused on cancer, focused on cardiac disease and other diseases as well. Large quantitative models, LQMs, are the models that really help us take all this data generated by the physics itself, by the molecules themselves and how they interact in the body with their targets. This takes us well beyond what ChatGPT or large language models can do.
All right, I hope you're all having a great day today. The S&P finished the day up roughly 0.1%. NVIDIA finished the day down nearly 2%, and Tesla finished the day down about 1.5%. All eyes are on FOMC and the Fed's decision on interest rates this Wednesday. As for Tesla, we are right at the bottom of the supply zone, and the histogram started moving lower today. Both of these developments are not ideal in the short term. I still think Tesla has upside between now and October 10th, as long as the robotaxi event is not delayed, and as long as the rest of the market can simply remain calm. Speaking of the rest of the market, the Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates this Wednesday by either 25 or 50 basis points. If the Fed can keep everyone calm, convince market participants that the labor market is fine, and confirm that more rate cuts are coming later this year, then I think we could potentially see the market trade higher for the next week or two. However, even if the market trades higher over the next couple weeks, I would be cautious during this time, and especially cautious once we get to the end of September and into early October, because at that point, market participants will be fully focused on the upcoming election in November. I'm expecting an increase in volatility and erratic price action as we get closer to November. Now, regarding NVIDIA, today we closed under the 50 MA on the daily time frame, and momentum on the histogram has slowed notably. Both of these developments do not bode well for the short term. I'll be honest with you. I thought we were likely to retest the upper resistance trend line in the near future, and perhaps we will in the days ahead, but I'm not so sure of that at this point. For now, we are wedged between the 50 MA and this support trend line that stretches all the way back to January of this year. So at this point, we either break back above the 50 or we break below the support trend line. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we just have some erratic price action within a tight range until we get the Fed's interest rate decision on Wednesday. The whole market feels like it's in somewhat of a standstill until we get more clarity on Wednesday. So that's what I'm thinking about NVIDIA in the short term. Over the medium term, I am cautious regarding NVIDIA between now and late October/early November. There are a couple reasons why. As I've mentioned in recent videos, attention surrounding NVIDIA tends to move in cycles. This is an oversimplified graphic, but I'm just trying to communicate the underlying concept here. Attention surrounding NVIDIA peaks when the company reports earnings, as the entire market is watching them like a hawk. And then attention surrounding NVIDIA typically reaches a relative low about 3 to 5 weeks prior prior to the company's next earnings report. This pattern has already happened twice this year, and I understand that when NVIDIA reached its relative low in early August, this was exacerbated by the unwind of the carry trade. At the same time, we can see that NVIDIA was trading lower well before early August, and so the stock likely would have reached a relative low during this time regardless of the carry trade situation. On top of all this, we also have an election in November, and I expect market volatility to increase as we get closer to the election. Given the cycle NVIDIA typically moves in between earnings, and given that we have an election, I am cautious regarding NVIDIA between now and late October/early November. Even if NVIDIA moves higher with the rest of the market following FOMC on Wednesday, I would personally still be cautious until we get into late October/early November. Of course, patterns tend to repeat themselves, but they don't always have to. Okay, I've shared with you both my short-term and medium-term thoughts on NVIDIA, and now let me share my long-term outlook with you. I am bullish on the long-term future of NVIDIA for multiple reasons. The hyperscalers must invest in AI infrastructure now, or else they will be quickly left behind. NVIDIA is the undisputable leader in AI chips right now, and it's not even close. Blackwell is on the horizon and is scheduled to ship in Q4. And Blackwell is not just a chip, it's an entire platform. And this creates a massive revenue opportunity for NVIDIA. Given NVIDIA's current growth trajectory and their upcoming product cycles, I would not be surprised if this company doubles over the next 2 years. Of course, I don't know what the future holds, but I genuinely think this company has a clear runway to growth ahead of it, and I think NVIDIA's brightest days are ahead. With all of that being said, I hope you're all having a great start to the week, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts about NVIDIA in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.